Hi guys, we are gonna reveal some things to you tonight. Guys, Putin has released the bombshell. He exposed the lies of the West. Guys, this is amazing. You gotta watch this video. You gotta see this. If you have not watched it, this is a trending video to watch. Okay? Putin just unveiled the black savior. Wow. And he said that his country is gonna only worship the black savior. So he exposed the lies of the West, what they have been hiding over 2,000 years for us. They've been hiding it. You know, when you read the scriptures, which I'm going to read to you now, it says that our Savior is a black man. The book of Revelation 1:15, he said his feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace. That's New International Version. New Living Translation said his feet were like polished bronze refined in a furnace. Okay? I'm going to read some versions for you. English Standard Version. His feet were like burnished bronze. You know, all of them agree to his feet, like the black man's color. Black. I'm going to read another version for you, another Bible quotation for you. That's talking about Solomon. In the Songs of Solomon 1:5, he says, "Dark am I, yet lovely, daughters of Jerusalem. Dark like the tents of cedar wood." Okay, New Living Translation says, "I am dark but beautiful." The Israelites were dark people in color. They were dark. Abraham was a black man. Isaac, Jacob, the people of Egypt were black people. The former president of Egypt, Nasser, said, the Jews left black and returned white. That means a lot. That means a lot. So guys, I will allow you to watch the video. You tell me what you think on the comment section. They have lied to us. Everything was whitewashed. They gave us the white Jesus, which is the son of Lucifer himself, the son of the morning. We will prove it to you. We have made some videos on that. They gave us the white Jesus, white Mary, everything whitened. Watch this video. It's very interesting. Let me hear your comment on the comment section. Share the video. Make sure it reaches everyone. This is a must watch. What are you going to do with your images of Jesus, the white images of Jesus? Now that you find out it's a lie, that they lied to you. The white images are fake. We're going to come to the people living in Egypt. Who are they? In Israel, who are they? Okay, so guys, watch this video. The truth is coming out. The lies cannot stay forever. Our Savior is a black man, like me and you. The book of Revelation where we read says his feet were like burnished bronze in a furnace, in a fire. Okay, and his hair like white wool. Now our hair is woolly. Okay, it's not light, it's woolly. You can feel it like a sponge. That's the description. The Putin, the Russian government has revealed the truth. This makes one cry that we've been living in their lies for a long time. We've been telling you before that they lied to us. Everything they have given us is a lie, and you think we were joking. Now that it comes from a president of a nation, revealing the votes, the image that is printed with our hand, they claim, we don't know how it happened, but, it looks like a stone cut with our hand, if you can remember, that is going to crush the kingdom of Europe. Let's see how it unfolds, because this is getting interesting. The book of Daniel chapter 2 talked about a stone that is cut with our hand that is going to destroy the whole system from Babylon to Rome. And Russia is now unveiling an image printed with our hands. And this is the image, he said, that the country is going to follow, not the European white Jesus, which is Lucifer. Okay, so now I can compare it like a stone cut with our hands that is going to destroy every other kingdom. Let's see how this unfolds. This is interesting. I would like to engage us in this discussion. What does this mean? Now that President Putin is revealing the truth. I thought they are one before. I thought they have been working together before. You see the pandemic, they have their vaccine, the Sputnik, and the Europeans have their own AstraZeneca. America has their own Moderna. And China, I think they have their own too. I thought they were working together. What changed? What has happened? Let's find out. Follow me in this discussion. Watch the video right now. Yep.
Ever since the opening of one of the oldest vaults in history, the world has since then spiraled into a buzzing sphere of resounding shock. The old blinkers on the eyes of plenty of people around the globe have fallen off their eyes in a flash, and they can now see the structure of lies which they have been made to hold on to with their lives and their belief system for so long, without any doubts or consternation whatsoever. But the news is not yet over. There is yet more shocker in the way. You're advised to brace yourself for what you're about to hear.
Stop what you're doing, download this video, and share it on every social media site you can find, because this shit just got crazy. Vladimir Putin just told his entire nation that they now serve Black Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of Russia, today we stand on the precipice of a monumental revelation. A moment that redefines not only our understanding of history, but also the path forward for our great nation. In an extraordinary discovery hidden beneath centuries of lore and legend, we have opened what can only be described as the oldest vault known to mankind. What we found within its ancient confines challenges the very fabric of our beliefs and heralds a new dawn for our country. These figures, preserved against the sands of time, reveal a truth that is as profound as it is transformative. As your president, I see this moment not as a challenge to our beliefs, but as an opportunity to embrace a wider, more inclusive understanding of our history and spirituality. From this day forward, let us proclaim our nation under the guidance of Black Jesus.
So many talks, turbulent reactions, outragings, and all kinds of activities in relation to the recent unveiling of black biblical icons to the world by the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, hasn't died down just yet. As a matter of fact, the commotion continues steadily on the rise.
You remember that yesterday I gave you a video about one Dr. Kihuran Kuba, who is a Ugandan scholar specializing in classical African history. He spoke and said that one thing that the white person did when they colonized Africa is that they also colonized information. And that really shows that much of the information that we were fed was whitewashed and made to align with the desires that the white person had at that time.
Including Jesus. So a lot of these biblical paintings and images were destroyed during the Renaissance time. There were museums that were able to preserve these images. One of them was in Russia. So Putin recently decided that he was going to open the vault and expose all of the images. A lot of people are surprised that the images are of darker complexion people. Well, archaeologists and painters from all around the world have come together to confirm that the paint on these biblical images or paintings is the original paint, and it is not lighter paint that has oxidized over time. And a lot of people are in question of this because of the images that have been and are currently being depicted of biblical figures, which does not align with the ancient images.
Just the thought alone that a white man opened up the vault and let everyone see this, but people are still mad. Why would you be mad? You should be happy. Remember, this is chess, not checkers. Putin did this because 2024, the black Anunnaki is about to return and their time is up. So they was thinking, hey, if we could get some black people on our side, maybe the Anunnaki.
You can really see that Russia has been holding a lot of important information for the world. And I guess this is why some of the Western nations do not find any common ground that they can share with Russia. Because Russia is out to liberate the world. It is out there to share true information, because true liberation can only come when we have true and factual information.
News of the unveiling has been a great shocker to the entire globe, as the display of these black biblical icons in their unrivaled authenticity did not only challenge long-held mistruths and wrong beliefs which has been adopted for centuries now, but it did shake down the very firmly forged roots of religious falsehoods, which obviously has been conspiratorially championed for as long as any one of us can remember today. It's only been days now, the 23rd of this month of March, 2024, since the Russian President Vladimir Putin addressed the nation in Moscow. In a resounding video, the passionate president has been shown sitting at a table and opening a triptych. Here, a narrator had said,
"Today, Vladimir Putin reveals to the world a secret that Europeans have been hiding from Africans for more than a millennium. That the person of the name, Jesus, was black."
As some of us should already have known, when the European Renaissance happened, all the global images were seized and whitewashed by Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci.
It's always about the highest order of heroism, the highest order of sacrifice, the highest order of saintliness.
These are the pieces that for centuries were anchors for spirituality in Russia. Icons installed magnificently in churches, privately in homes, and even quietly on soldiers' lapels. They are considered a pathway to prayer.
You'd approach the icon and you would see something that is expected to be seen. You don't want to be surprised. And that familiarity leads you to a contemplative prayer state that is very spiritual to the believer.
Icons dating back to the 14th century brought together from private collections across Russia.
It's very beautiful. It gives you goose pimples. It's a remarkable exhibition.
It's an exhibition which feeds the senses. Everything is so grey outside at the moment, and here suddenly it's a feast for the eyes.
And it's a feast that marks 100 years since religious icons started to be recognised as works of art. Before then, they were mainly viewed as religious objects, often left blackened over the centuries by the passage of time and added layers of paint.
Мы научились снимать эти поздние записи.
When we learned how to remove the dark layers, we discovered underneath an overwhelming...
And just hold on a second, did you hear that? Let us hear that part again.
When we learned how to remove the dark layers, we discovered underneath an overwhelming...
Did you hear that? Now let us take it a little slower this time to be sure.
When we learned how to remove the dark layers, we discovered underneath an overwhelming...
That's the part. The images were whitewashed. And then the other old images were hidden in vaults all over Europe and Russia, and they all agreed to keep the old images a secret amongst them. But that secret is what is being gradually exposed this day by Putin, of which there are those who thinks of the act as a form of warfare, seeing as the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, is on the verge of nuking his country, and so he's had to reveal that the Christ and Mary were black people, and he has all the images, about 1,700 pictures to prove. There's been all kinds of speculation which continues to mount since the offshoot of this incident. But the basis of what stands now for Vladimir Putin and the Russian Federation is this. From now on, like he has announced a few days ago, Russia only worships Black Jesus. Let's listen attentively to the speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of Russia, today, we stand on the precipice of a monumental revelation, a moment that redefines not only our understanding of history, but also the path forward for our great nation. In an extraordinary discovery hidden beneath centuries of lore and legend, we have opened what can only be described as the oldest vault known to mankind. What we found within its ancient confines challenges the very fabric of our beliefs and heralds a new dawn for our country. Within this vault, we discovered figures of biblical proportions, characters that many have read about, debated, and revered. These figures, preserved against the sands of time, reveal a truth that is as profound as it is transformative. They are all black. This revelation, this undeniable truth, stands before us not as a contradiction to our faith, but as a testament to the diversity and unity that faith embodies. As your president, I see this moment not as a challenge to our beliefs, but as an opportunity to embrace a wider, more inclusive understanding of our history and spirituality. Russia, in its rich tapestry of cultures, traditions, and people, is uniquely positioned to lead the world into this new era of understanding and acceptance. From this day forward, let us proclaim our nation under the guidance of Black Jesus, a figure who represents not just the cornerstone of Christian faith, but also a symbol of the universal values of love, compassion, and brotherhood. This Black Jesus, whose likeness and history have been unveiled from the oldest vault, is a message to us all that divinity knows no color, that spiritual truth transcends race, and that our common humanity binds us more tightly than our differences divide us. Let this discovery remind us that history is not just the story of those who wield power, but also of those whose contributions have been overlooked or forgotten. It challenges us to re-examine what we know, to question our assumptions, and to open our hearts to the broader possibilities of understanding and faith. As we embark on this journey of discovery and understanding, let us do so with open minds and compassionate hearts. Let us build a nation that truly reflects the teachings of Black Jesus, a nation that stands for justice, equality, and love for all, regardless of race or creed.
Dmitry Peskov, press secretary of the President of Russian Federation, highlighted the special significance of icons in Russian military history and added that the image of Savior not made by hand has been the protective icon of Russian troops over several centuries. Guess you would want to know what the Savior not made by hand is all about. The Savior not made by hand icon is a canonical depiction of the face of Jesus Christ, which, according to legend, was miraculously imprinted on a cloth he used to wipe his face. This image was depicted on the banners of the Russian army, as well as placed over the gates of fortresses. Soldiers have always considered it their patron, while civilians viewed it as their protector and savior. This is just nothing short of amazingly revealing. To understand in this light that President Putin and the Russian Federation have always firmly acknowledged the undeniable significance and miracle of the life and death of the one called Jesus, a false name by the way, as he was Hebrew and Jesus is no Hebrew name, and had clung to it all along for sovereignty and safety. whereas the blacks who have been enslaved, discriminated, tossed about back and forth in the earth all their lives, have been entrapped mostly in the ignorance of their own foundation and story. The Savior Not Made by Hand icon, which in the past belonged to Defense Minister of the Russian Empire, Pyotr Vanovsky, and whose replicas Russian President Vladimir Putin presented to the military in the Special Operations Zone, was purchased from a private collection in the US. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov had told TASS, one of the most cited Russian news agencies, on a Tuesday, 18th April 2023. Interestingly, this very well leads us to the somewhat unpopular story of how the Savior Not by Hand icon may have been purchased from this private collection in the USA. This was the month of August 2011. And a priceless painting of supposedly the true face of Jesus that had been missing for 150 years was recovered after a thief stole it from a trailer and tried to sell it to a church. The painting, which had turned up in Madisonville, Tennessee, is based on the Veil of Veronica, the said cloth believed to have been used to wipe the heavy sweats off Jesus' face on that historic day when he painfully trekked to his crucifixion.
Welcome back. A minor theft might have turned into a major religious discovery. A missing artifact was found in the closet of a Tennessee motorhome. Volunteer TV's John Trainer talked with the owner of a rare painting who didn't know what he had. John?
Yeah, and it makes you wonder what you might have in your house. In this case, it was an authentic 19th century painting of the Veil of Veronica. It's like a story ripped from a Hollywood screenplay. A small road in the mountains of Tennessee, a living room in a motorhome, and a 150-year-old painting blessed by Pope Leo XIII. This is the true face of Jesus Christ, one of a handful of paintings based on the cloth used to wipe Jesus' face before his crucifixion, known as the Veil of Veronica. Its owner, a 73-year-old man who didn't want to be identified.
The piece fell into the hands of hapless thief Kelly Gormley, who decided the best place to sell a religious artifact was to a church. It was owned by a 73-year-old man, known only as Frosty, who kept it in a cloth bag inside a cupboard in his motorhome. Frosty had told VolunteerTV.com, a major online media outlet, that he had lived in the house for 17 years, and the painting has been in there, in his bedroom, ever since. This, the elderly man had informed, feeling obviously quite stunned at the discovery.
I've lived here for about 17 years. It's been in there, either in there or in my bedroom, ever since.
So how does a holy relic go from the holy city to Monroe County? Well, the man known as Frosty tells us he got it as a present and hung it on his wall 20 years ago, but 3 years later, it found a home in this cloth bank bag and was thrown in his closet, until police say it was stolen by Kelly Gormley, who tried to sell it to this Madisonville church.
The police say Gormley broke into the motorhome and stole the painting, before trying to sell it off to St. Joseph the Worker Church in Madisonville, Tennessee. But the church, realizing the significance of the painting, alerted the police, who then arrested Gormley.
The church told the sheriffs made the arrest, and a piece of religious history was uncovered.
You know, at first, obviously, it was a big surprise for us that something like this might even, be in East Tennessee. Normally, you'd expect to find something like this in a museum or maybe in Rome, in the Vatican.
The painting is now under lock and key in a secret location. Gormley is in prison for theft, and Frosty is overwhelmed that a treasure was laying hidden in his home.
I know they really wanted it bad, but I said, nah, I don't think I'll be partnering with it.
Now, the church is now working with Rome to authenticate and appraise the painting. If it is real, it is invaluable to the church.
According to legend, a follower had in the past dabbed Jesus' face with the cloth as he bore his cross, imprinting his very likeness onto it. Astonishing, isn't it? Afterwards, the handful of paintings which were then based on this singular material are therefore thought to be actual likenesses of Jesus' face. But this was the real one. This one in particular was at some point blessed even by Pope Leo XIII. But the story of the Savior Not Made by Hand does not end here, nonetheless. This very story you have just now heard can only be termed as the mere child of the real history in question. The Veil of Veronica is a Catholic relic which, according to legend, bears the true likeness of Jesus Christ. However, this story is not recorded in its present form until the Middle Ages. The most recent version of the legend recounts that Saint Veronica from Jerusalem encountered Jesus as he wearily walked down the Via Dolorosa bearing his cross on the way to Calvary. When she had paused to wipe the sweat off Jesus' face with her veil, his image was imprinted mysteriously on the cloth. The event is commemorated as the 6th station of the cross. According to some versions, Veronica later traveled to Rome to present the cloth to the Emperor Tiberius. It is believed, however, that the veil possesses miraculous properties, being able to quench thirst, cure blindness, and sometimes even raise the dead. It was not until the 14th century that the Veronica became a central icon in the Western Church. Now let's go back to the present. The icon, replicas of which the president gave to servicemen in the Kherson region and the Lugansk People's Republic, were previously purchased from a private collection in the US of A, the Kremlin official had said. He stressed that the replicas would stay in the Kherson region and the Lugansk People's Republic, LPR, while President Putin would hand the original over to the main cathedral of Russia's armed forces. In the past, this icon belonged to Pyotr Vanovsky, who served as Russia's defense minister from 1881 to 1898. Peskov highlighted the special significance of icons in Russian military history and added that the image of savior not made by hand has been the protective icon of Russian troops over several centuries. Going forward, the said ritualistic act of having these icons stationed at his nation's fortresses and warposts is what Russian President Putin had also done this time in his visit to the headquarters of the Dnieper Battle Group on the Kherson front and the headquarters of the National Guard East Battle Group in the Lugansk People's Republic, LPR, a self-proclaimed breakaway state in eastern Ukraine that is supported by Russia. During his visit, the head of state heard reports from military commanders on the situation on the Kherson, Zaporozhye and Lugansk fronts. This was the head of state's first visit to the Kherson region and the LPR. Previously, Putin had visited Russia's new regions as well for the same reason when he traveled to Mariupol in the Donetsk People's Republic. He has never failed in observing this ritual. However, it has become really curious. Amazingly curious, to be precise, seeing the vigorous effort President Putin is putting into the revolutionary assertion of his faith these recent times. This is nothing short of admirable. Regardless of the massive speculations and barrages of opinions such actions have bestirred from his critiques and opponents.